What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 12 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Settra, the Great King, the Imperishable, Khemri Kara, the Great King of Nehekara, King of Kings, Opener of the Way, Wielder of the Divine Flame, Punisher of Nomads, the Great Unifier, Commander of the Golden Legion, Sacred of Appearance, pretty clearly, and many, many more. So as we saw last time, Settra faced off against Kugath, Plague Father, and though it was a hard-fought fight, managed to banish the exalted Greater Demon back to the realm of Nurgle. Kugath is by and large broken. His capital at Blight River Falls will indeed fall soon, and I believe he has one little outpost out here somewhere. I don't know where this territory actually is. Wyvern Cliff should be up here. Skull Crag, where the heck is Wyvern Cliffs? Wait, what part of the, wait, is it here? No, Misty Mountain. Alright, well, I'm sure we'll find it. Oh, it's right there. Alright, so I guess it's here, so I guess what we'll need to do is we'll need to move through the Exiles of Nehek territory to grab it, which I guess we were going to do anyway. There's also a Book of Nagash right there, and another right there, so we're starting to approach that, and that's nice as well. But anyway, now let's get started with whatever it is we have to do. I'm sure we have at least a few moves, and Hakor, by the looks of it, is going to start the day for us today in Bittersand Swamp against the ogres there, and a close victory apparently. Let's see what we got. So the Icon of the Sacred Eye, again, can't go on anybody in this army, can it? I don't like you, Icon of the Sacred Eye. Alright, for now, we're gonna bump up the prowess of the Hawk Legion of Settra, because they should be the best, and I guess we'll replace this with something else. Frankly, the additional armor on the Dune Dervishes out of another Emblem of Withering would probably be nice, so frankly, probably just gonna pop in an Emblem of Withering on the Dune Dervishes and call it a day. It might even be better than the Icon of the Sacred Eye anyway. Haven't fought a lot of ogres, so this should be fun. They do have lead belchers and man-eaters here, which we'll have to be wary of, but otherwise I don't see too many problems. Go. Alrighty, very well. You sound real enthused about this whole battle thing there, Mr. Hakor, but either way. Oh, the Necrosphinx, I'm sure, will be plenty enthused for all of us, and with the Necrosphinx being an anti-large specialist against an ogre army, I'm sure it will have plenty to do here. Anyway, I'm going to start the battle up by moving forward a teensy bit, but by and large keeping our army together, rather than running around the enemy, as the enemy effectively only has one threatening artillery piece, or the monstrous cannon infantry, if the game prefers, in the form of the lead belchers. So as soon as they actually close the distance, we're going to retarget both of our Screaming Skull catapults at the lead belchers, maybe a couple shots from the Casket of Souls as well, but we don't expect it to do too much damage to them. Like the exalted Plague Bearers in the battle against the Nurglites, we will use the Screaming Skull catapults to simply keep the lead belchers away from our main stack, as I do feel like the rest of our army can defeat the other ogres. While the man-eaters will certainly be of an issue, I do imagine that our infantry should be able to beat the ogreish monstrous infantry, and just by virtue of the buffs that we have on everybody now. Anyway, the Ushabti make their way forward together with the regular Nehekaran warriors with twin blades, and so do the Lizard Liquidators and the other Settra's Hawk Legion units. Now let's see how well they do here. They are pretty tanky at this point, with 113 armor, more than Tomb Guard, and twice as fast as Tomb Guard. And there's Settra's Legion after all, so should be doing pretty good. In the meantime, the Necrosphinx has gone towards the enemy Ogre Paymaster and started to get those hits in, dropping the Paymaster down by about 40% of its HP. Tombbark supporting the other units of Nehekara warriors, and, well, kind of just supporting the center, generally speaking, but we're pretty distributed in this particular fight. The enemy is not really susceptible to the Skullstorms here, so we popped off a quick little non-overcast version onto a unit of Noblar Flingers, and just so that they stop annoying the tomb bark, as every single AI enemy seems to want to target and destroy those. Here we have the enemy units of man-eaters with ogre pistols dueling the Hawk Legion of Settra, who have lost about 10% of their HP, while the man-eaters have lost a little over half, so I do think that that one is going in our way. All the way over on the right flank, we have caught another unit of man-eaters with ogre pistols, and though the matchup isn't so great, we have sent the units of Nehekaran horsemen, led by the Storm Riders of Khazar, in order to cut them down. But it looks like with enough horsemen, even this will work out. It's just that the pistol fire will bring down horses probably with each hit, so you gotta be careful about that. But we do have the numbers. Otherwise, the Paymaster has been obliterated by the Necrosphinx. One of the hunters is nearly done for as well and is attempting to escape said Necrosphinx's ministrations. Though there is another hunter to block his way. There isn't really too much else that the enemy can do. Does look like it can fire off a few. There we go, down goes the hunter. Does look like it can fire off a few shots from those lead belchers at last, as they've been dodging those skulls for the entire battle. But otherwise, the battle is very nearly ours. First hunter has fallen, and now the second hunter is booking it on out of there, terrified of the Necrosphinx after it's seeing it cut down all the other single entities. The balance of power has shifted to just a sliver in the enemy's favor, about 5% or so. And a few more swings of a Khopesh will bring the battle to us. That was a particularly dramatic Khopesh swing from the Ushabti, the regular Ushabti there. And there we go. With that, the last remaining of the enemies will shatter, and the battle against the ogres is ours. And we can see by the HP damage that we've suffered, we did pretty darn well. Even the Storm Riders of Khazar, they actually lost a ton of HP, but they didn't lose models, so they'll be basically at full HP, despite the fact that they were fighting man-eaters with ogre pistols in melee. I guess getting into melee against them quickly worked out well for us, as they weren't able to leverage the damage out of those ogre handguns, ogre man pistols anyway. Alrighty, there we go. Very nice indeed, with the super speedy skeletons certainly lived up to their name, both chasing down enemies, but also getting more kills and damage than the other of the Hawk Legion units. Oh, right, I never named the Nehekaran Horsemen, but these guys did well with 186 kills and nearly 17k damage. As always, the Casket of Souls did fine, but the Screaming Skull catapults were a little bit busy just making sure that the enemy lead belchers could do nothing whatsoever. As for the Ushabti, the Wardens of Jed, despite not being rank 17 yet, or rank 7 rather, did better than the others. A lovely, lovely little fight. We are going to remove that banner. That doesn't work though, so let's move into here, into the swamp. We will be, well, we gotta build military structures here because we gotta make this worth enough to trade for the hill territories, which are green for us, as opposed to the red territories that the lizards can use. Anyway, Hakor, you, my friend, can lose the icon of the sacred eye. And what the heck? What did I just remove from him? It just removed 2 things. Did it? It did, didn't it? What did he have? Damn it. Well, I don't know what else he had, so that's annoying. Oh, I know what he had. He had the Herald of Jav, didn't he? Why did it remove that? Where are we here? Where are we? Wait. Herald of... No, it's Herald of Rosetta, not Herald of Jav, but yes, that should be in here, and I guess we'll get another emblem of Withering while we're at it. Alright there, and then we'll pop it onto those Twin Blades, or the Doom Dervishes in particular. It means no Jav's Incantation of Cursed Blades on these guys, though, just on the other 2, but all good. All good, Emblem of Withering it is. Alright, and then we're building stuff up here. Well done to Hakor, as usual. In fact, let's level him up after that. Guess we could keep going through with first gen priest. We have all the important stuff here. Yeah, might as well. Alright. He does have points to spare as well. Actually, he doesn't have Canopic Jar Hoarder, which we maybe want to do. Ooh, also more Bone Giant capacity, please. And definitely gonna need a few more of those, as Khalida's gonna take a fair few for herself. As the Scorpion King. Ooh, I'm gonna give you the Scorpion armor later. That makes sense. Oh, you know what? I just noticed that we hadn't named those Nehekaran horsemen. Let's do that. You too. Khemri Derby champions, like so. And you can be Skullstorm Racers. You know what, we might as well, there's only one in here, so let's name the Necrosphinx, so you can be Soul Harvester. And frankly, it did very well in that particular battle as it harvested the souls of all the enemy lords and heroes. Killed the Paymaster, killed the Firebelly, killed the Hunter. They stood no real chance against the big boy. Anyway, what was I saying? I guess did I name the Tombbark in this army? Bark to the bone, yes. Alrighty, you, Scorpion King. Are going to move on into Marble Massif. Let's see what's going on here. I assume it's got a full stack. That's where it ran. Indeed, that is where it ran. Pyrrhic victory and casualties high. Is this a minor settlement battle? It is not. It is a field battle, which actually will probably make it more difficult for us, and I guess that's what I like to see. Pop you into Great Dynasty stance, and then move on in to take out Mr. Spinetail. Ooh, Eshin Triads and Death Runners. Gotta be really careful about those hitting our Screaming Skull catapults. They're fragile enough to get absolutely torn to shreds. Let's find out if they do. Go. Alrighty, Fornahikara indeed. Let's see if we can pull this off. Should be a really interesting fight, in part because the enemy has a really nice stack. The first army is just a straight-up Eshin army with 6 Death Runners, 4 Eshin Triads, and then a bunch of various Gutter Runners and Night Runners units, with the second army providing a nice blob of regular infantry, clan rats and other garbage, to send at us. Now, the enemy looks to be wanting to block off the choke point here, but that is definitely not going to go in their favor. So we're going to start moving our Scorpion piles, led by the War Sphinx riding Scorpion King, towards the enemy. And again, earmark the Scorpion armor legendary item for this fella. And yeah, it looks like the enemy doesn't want to move forward, but that works fine for us. In addition to moving the Scorpions forward, if the enemy doesn't want to charge us yet, we're going to send forth our Bone Giants. Each hit with an arrow from a Bone Giant should knock out one of the enemy artillery pieces, while the skulls continue raining down on the rats below. There we go. Nice accuracy from the Bone Giants. And another beautiful. Alright, looks like that Plague Claw Catapult is not going to be doing too much further. And at least thus not menacing too much our infantry, though it has done about half damage to one of the units of the Tomb Guard at this point. Otherwise, if the enemy doesn't wish to move forward, let's send the Scorpions and the War Sphinx to menace their main line a little bit, and just to try to keep as many of them pinned in the choke point as possible. Unfortunately, they do still have a ton of Death Runners that I fully expect them to sort of move around and hit our flanks, so we can't really send our Tomb Guard as yet, though perhaps it was my mistake, and I should have sent some of them here and some of them here just to block off the choke point. But I was worried that obviously the half of the enemy army is hidden, the Eshin elements, like this, all of this is invisible, you can't see it. So I didn't know where they were, if they were moving towards us already. Anyway, the main enemy line is about to be in shambles as these Scorpions burrow, charge, and snip their way forward in order to destroy as many clan rats and whatever other things they run into. The War Sphinx is of course there as well. The Screaming Skulls continue raining down into the enemy army below. A little bit of help from the Tombbark as well. But again, we are fighting the rats here, and we are horrifically outnumbered, and distracting us in this manner with primarily clan rats while they're more elite units. Piles of Death Runners and Eshin Triads go around us is actually the much better option anyway. Looks like the crew of the Plague Claw Catapults have returned. We're going to have to get a few more shots off on them. But otherwise, this choke point is having a lot of trouble with those units of Scorpions. That said, the first of the Death Runners and the Eshin Triads have arrived. Death Runners smash into our unit of Tomb Guard, and the Eshin Triads, with their anti-large, are attempting to bring down the Greater Bone Giant. We're going to back it off instead and send forth a few units of Tomb Guard to deal with the Eshin Triads, halberd on halberd. Which is something of an interesting matchup. Settra's chosen here, brought down to a mere 21 weapon strength by that Overwhelm on the Eshin Triads, which will allow them to stay in combat for quite a long time. I really did enjoy using these guys in the Throat the Unclean campaign, and actually wanted to put them into more armies. Gotta love Overwhelm. And it's another reason why we like to intersperse our Necrotechs within our lines of Tomb Guard, because it's just such a great buff. And that said, Weeping Blade on the Death Runners is no slouch either. Minus 50% armor, and look at these poor Tomb Guard. Just here, the Tomb Guard are down to 14 weapon strength, and by virtue of poison combining with overwhelm, and their armor is down to 36. If it wasn't for their massive 70 melee defense, this unit would already be pretty much destroyed, but otherwise, it's not winning this fight. There is absolutely no way. Its stats are destroyed by these contact effects, which is again why I want to make a contact effect army as soon as we have a few units ready to be recruited. But anyway, I'm just gonna have to do our best to stave off the assaults of all of these rats. We got another unit of Death Runners here over on the right flank, and they are again Weeping Blading the Tomb Guard. Tomb Guard have very low melee attack with the Halberd variant. The Sword and Board variant would absolutely win against the Death Runners, but these guys are gonna struggle a lot more. As we sort of designed this army with the idea that the Tomb Guard would be the anti-large of the army, while the Scorpions would be the anti-infantry. But the Scorpions are a little bit busy killing off, thousands upon thousands of clan rats, which again, they are doing very well. But we're going to need a little bit of help on the main line, especially as our units of artillery pieces are somewhat exposed at this point. And so, the Lord, or the War Sphinx, more specifically, is going to move in to help out a little bit, maybe do a little bit of damage to additional fighting units, but otherwise try to keep them away from doing these sorts of things. Charging forth, and for example, here we go, one of the units of Death Runners was forced to rout, and has now moved towards our unit of Screaming Skull Catapults. But what can you do? We can even send one of the Bone Giants into melee just to try to protect this thing, as well as the Neru's Incantation. It looks like the artillery piece survived, or the crew survived, but they did lose about half of their HP, so we gotta be real careful about that. On the bright side, though, the enemy's army is starting to dwindle, at least in terms of numbers, with the units of their elite, the Death Runners and the Eshin Triads, at least, engaged here. We are dishing out plenty of damage in terms of their elite units actually capable of defeating us. No matter how many clan rats and Skaven slaves they have, after all, they're not going to be a threat. And a full half of the enemy army is just being taken apart by the 4 units of Scorpions here. Or otherwise are set panicking and running out of that choke point. Now it's just a matter of having our artillery units win the fight against the enemy range elements, and our melee elements just to try to hold the line against the Eshin units. Though admittedly, again, credit where it's due, the Eshin units absolutely caused massive damage to a bunch of our Tomb Guard. That obliteration of their stats really does work well, doesn't it? I like the combo. Bet we can't, it's unlikely, I would say, that we're gonna be able to get any Skaven units in our armies. Might have been neat to have a Tomb Guard line with a few Eshin Triads mixed in. But all good. We will have access to, well, we do have access to Elven, Cathan, and Lizardman units, and that alone is pretty darn nice. And I'm still contemplating maybe downloading a mod that allows us access to their entire rosters rather than waiting for them to tech up. And just because you can't really trust your allies to tech up. But either way, with that, the battle comes to a close. We've suffered about half of HP and damage to our army overall. The Scorpions did fantastic, but the Tomb Guard did struggle a little bit. I wonder if we could power this army up with a War Drum, just to hold the line and help the Tomb Guard fight in melee. Certainly something to think about. But again, the Tomb Guard will get more powerful with veterancy and with the stats out of the tech. So we'll see what they're like in their final form before making any adjustments. Alrighty, there we go. We got 300 kills exactly on the Scorpion King there, but his scorpions caused absolute havoc in the enemy lines, essentially holding the choke points against about half of the enemy army, while we had to deal with the other half. Of course, the other half still caused us plenty of trouble getting around us with those Eshin Triads and Death Runners and damaging our artillery pieces several times, but it didn't stop the artillery from doing their work. Around Warhammer 40k damage on each of them, and about 30,000 on the two bone giants, with the greater bone bow slightly beating out and the bones of Lovelock there. As for the scorpions, we got by 19, well, by 19, but at 19k damage, it's Senior Snips, and we of course will power these guys up further once we get the Herald of the Scorpion soon. Goodbye. Alrighty, Marble Massif is ours. We don't actually really care about it, but we'll hold on to it for now, I guess. I mean, yeah, I'll think about it. We could just give the entire mountain range to the Cathians if we wanted to, but really they just need to have enough territory to have access to all of their unit types. After that's done, it's not going to be really all that critical anymore. Anyway, let's see. There is probably somebody else who has to move. Khalida, yes. Oh, you're right beside Volkmar again, but Volkmar's army is kind of... It's pretty meh, but Khalida's is down to only a few units. Oh, I did want to test out whether we can give the banner to... Alright, Natwalup's Order, Banner of the Hidden Dead. Okay, well, we do want the Banner of Swiftness on you. The Hidden Dead is now useless to Khalida, so she can lose... Okay, I wish this didn't cover the units. Oh, you can put the Hidden Dead on the Tombbark? Huh, Stalk and Vanguard deployment. That's kind of interesting. I like that. Maybe hold on to it for now. I don't know if we'll replace it. We very well might, but we'll see. Walut's Order is Stalk and Speed, which we were going to put on these guys. And that was the main thing, because we'll have several of the Bone Giants. Well, I guess then we won't have room for the Banner of the Hidden Dead, because we'll need more of the Walut's Order to get the Bone Giants stalking and sniping, which is kind of neat. But anyway, Pyrrhic Victory, the Tombbark will unfortunately die, so I guess we'll have to fight this. Not a big deal. When you're horribly outnumbered, it's always a fun fight, regardless of the fact that the enemy stands no chance. Khalida, kill Volkmar again.
Unlike others, it is not powerless, but vengeance. Hear me, oh Asa! This love that I offer in your name.
Alright, here we go. I was just holding back my laughter, thinking how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, bald man. Khalida's going to be facing off against Volkmar again shortly, and 6.5k HP. It's actually a lot lower in terms of HP than I thought he'd be, isn't he? On the War Altar of Sigmar, 6.5k isn't much higher than just a regular Footlord. Does he have an Empire Captain? What are we at here in terms of max HP on you? About 5k HP, so it's higher on the War Altar of Sigmar. But feels lower than I thought it would be, you know what I mean? I thought this thing would have like 8,000 health at the least. Go figure. He might have points that he's not attributed yet that is missing. But anyway, as usual, Khalida and her Venom Knights of SF will lead the charge. Don't care about those poor halberdiers as Khalida heads on and Venom Wave into the units of New Altdorf Retinue and Crossbows, just to apply a few of those poison effects, but then veers away into the artillery crew, as we gotta bring those down, or at least dish out as much damage to them as possible. That with the Venom Knights of SF, however, as Khalida and her Necro Serpent will instead charge directly towards Volkmar the Grim, who's going to be a lot grimmer after this fight. Alright, and again, I'm really loving the fact that the Khalida was down to a single settlement, because effectively Settra's campaign has become Khalida's campaign and Settra's campaign together, because she's kind of doing her own thing, retaking all those settlements on her side of the map from sort of point A. It's fantastic. Again, if we had gotten her with like a dozen settlements, then that portion would have been complete. But she started with a basically starting army, basically no units and all enemies around. It's just great. Anyway, Volkmar down to 700 HP and has, by the looks of it, actually reached his healing cap. I don't think that ability is going to help you there, buddy. And down he goes, falling off that war altar, knocked off of it again by Khalida, who, as somebody pointed out in the comments, stands just as tall as he does on the snake. Lovely. Otherwise, the bounce power is very much in our favor at about 90%. It must be shocking in terms of morale to see Volkmar the Grim fall again. Over on the right flank, the enemy had a bunch of cavalry mixed in with some halberds, but the Sepulchral Stalkers have managed to see them off with the help of a little bit of a support from our single Tombbark in this particular army. Over on the left flank, we have the Riders of Kuaf and the Fangs of the Queen, the other two units of Necropolis Knights, soon to be joined by two more units of Necropolis Knights, and doing their thing. And I haven't decided yet, do we want 2 units of Halberd Necropolis Knights, or because we have the Sepulchral Stalkers as anti-large infantry, do we want those guys? I guess in one way we might want the halberdiers just to be able to deal with enemy sort of elite cavalry should we run into them, and there's a decent likelihood that we send Khalida northward to fight like Arbal the Undefeated, and thus have the potential of running into Chaos Knights and, well, even more elite versions like Blood Crushers and Skull Crushers, and I would imagine that regular Sepulchral Stalkers wouldn't be able to defeat those guys, at least in melee, and we need Necropolis Knights with halberds for them. But efficiency-wise, at least against 90% of our foes, possibly more, the units of Necropolis Knights with the it's not sword and board, it's spear and board, the anti-infantry variant, would be more efficient. But anyway, nice little fight, enemy got absolutely obliterated. Alrighty, there we go. Very, very nice. Unsurprising result as well. As usual, the Venom Knights of SF clean house with 404 kills, 54,000 damage. The Fangs of the Queen and the Riders Kuaf both did well as well, going over 10k, though the Sepulchral Stalkers of the various kinds pretty much matched them, as they were able to fight on the right flank without too much in the way of support. Khalida, once again, defeating Volkmar, and while her damage dealt was decent, her damage delta's gold value at 3,700 was significantly higher than anything else, including the Venom Knights of Asaph, despite the kill disparity. So there's that. Anyway, unsurprising result, occupy the place. There we go. And the Necrotech did get hurt, but yeah, that's you're on a chariot right now, and probably will continue to be. So that's, well, it's not something we can do. There isn't really anything we can do about it. We can get you the Disciple of Sokth to get you the Scorpion armor to get a little bit of more damage resistance when you drop below an HP. But otherwise, we're just waiting for the spare Mortuary Cult stuff to, well, sort of, to get you a regen item, which would be really helpful, I'm sure. Anyway, Khalida, let's keep on building out to be a fighter, but I wouldn't say no to even more speed. Let's go over my dead body into Desert Strike. Oh, wait, no, I lied. We need to get your Resurrect. Elite Cavalrymen. And yeah. Especially since a few units can already benefit from the high tiers, high ranks that we've got going here. King Lamazash, I believe, is recruiting. Yes. Alright, so he's fine. And I believe everybody's fine. Alright, we have no money remaining, or at the very least very little of it. I think we were able to build... I forgot where it was. There was a location that I wanted to build some stuff, but we didn't have enough points to build anything. But alas, I no longer remember where. It wasn't here because I'm not sure whether we'll actually keep the place. Well, I guess we could build the iron at least for the trade goods purposes. And frankly, we're not in these mountains anymore, so we don't really need the charnel plazas either. Still eat those and maybe upgrade these places. At least it's something. And we can start collecting income as well. It's actually not so bad, so yeah. Something to be said for that. Alibaras Road, you're hopefully going to be safe now. Maybe not. But let's upgrade you and hopefully build a defensive structure there. Might as well upgrade them the Mastaba up here as well. Now I believe we're good. Oh, it was here that I wanted to build a lumber camp, and we'll keep the Charnel Plaza for now, and we can also, I guess, upgrade these when we have the money, and now we can end the turn. Alright, looks like Dusty will indeed attack or destroy his own army since he has no settlements remaining, and oh yeah, he would have lost this. It's just gobs. And the artillery would have been obliterated by the Nehekaran horse, and then, yeah, the regular gobs have no chance here. Auto-resolve and goodbye. And give us your money? Yeah, sure, money. Alright, very nice. Ally begins outpost construction. Ally mission successful. Ooh, yes, let's take a look at those ally missions. Ambusher discovered. Ungrol Stoneheart, who... Huh, okay, so they still have a full stack. I was gonna destroy the Bloody Tusks encampment. Keep moving up here. Yeah, there he is. I wonder where he'll go. If we declare war on him without destroying that army, it's gonna be potentially annoying. Dynasty researched, +1 capacity for Necrotects, and that was the last turn that we have of Lizardman Sacrifice. So if we want to get more heroes, now is certainly the time. Now let's first, however, have Settra hit the Blight River Falls with King Alcazar moving in as a marching in as a reinforcement. We should be able to auto-resolve this, at least I hope. Game is once again brutal in terms of the auto-resolve against the Tomb Kings. Come on, we won't get rank 15 from this, but we'll be close to it. Auto-resolve, no kill, good. Alright, a little bit of damage, but we can live with it, Occupy. Lovely. Free Sword of Strife and a free tier 4? That's not bad at all. Alright, Worship of Construction Reduction. We'll keep the Avenue of Monuments for now, just for the additional movement range, and we can actually immediately collect the income here. Pretty darn solid. Ooh, we got an Oasis location here as well. That's nice. Alright, we'll build stuff there afterwards. Dynasties. Now... Since we're not... I mean, we are looking for more Lich Priests, but it's not as critical as it was previously because we wanted to make use of that thing that we got. Should we go for the Proclamation of the Sixth Dynasty? Oh, you know what we should probably do? There's a few nice things here. I did want the restock for the Bone Giants. Vanguard deployment for Necropolis Knights. And Wayfarer? Yeah, okay. The Coiling Alacrity. Let's buff up our snakes. Especially the Sepulchral Stalkers. Not that I'm biased or anything. How dare you accuse me of these things. I don't have to listen to these wild allegations. Anyway, let's see. Panat. You have chased down a little tiny army that you had been previously chasing. Go into, I guess, raiding stance and hit Kahid Dunes afterwards. Clemens. With no army. And no clemency to be found. Hakor, you are going to head, I guess, to the Tree of Beards. And this way we can keep King Alcazar from necessarily going there. I wonder if we could get him to move up here. Well, we could also get him to chase the Beastmen. Where else would we send you? We'd have to send you north anyway. Settra has to grab the book, so he might be better off going like this while you take out the last remnants of Kugath's territories. Maybe that's the way to do it. Anyway, you're gonna go here. And we will want to delete the... well, delete it after. I should have put you into raiding stance, but it's too late now, so just channel. Well, you weren't full on mana anyway, so I guess that's fine. Tree of Beards, how well defended are you? Probably not well enough. Could have known that without even looking at it, though. Alright, now Wakaf. I guess we have two options. We could head you to the Grove of Thorns and wipe out Dun Saali. Just that they're not there anymore. They don't like us very much, and I don't think they'll ever become our vassals. Maybe that's the way. Let's go into raiding stance, see what we got here. Although, maybe just march stance towards them. I don't think they'll declare war on us. At least I doubt it. How many armies do they have out here? Just out of curiosity. They got 1.5, plus they've got some solid units in there. That might be a pretty fun fight against the Wood Elves. So yeah, let's march on in and we'll wipe them out as well. The Pools of Despair will live up to their name, I'm sure. King Setep. Alright, so you will want your second charioteer. But really, he's there for the Blood Roar, because this is the anti-leadership army. Huh, actually that reminds me, wait. A moment. First of all, you can transfer the Tomb Bark. Huh, actually, wait, I just had an idea. We should have access to the Cathan units now, right? Allied recruitment, agents of the moon. No? Is it one more turn? It's one more turn, isn't it? Oh, game, please. Okay, can I take a look at Cathan units for a second? I just want to double check something. How do we even... No, we can't take a look at your units here, can we? I wanted to take a look at Celestial Lions. They have a roar, but if it's Blood Roar, it's useless to us. But if it's a different roar, another anti-leadership thing, it might in fact be useful to this particular army, which is why I'm kind of hesitating on the Tomb Bark. Maybe what we'll do then is, are you able to construct Carrion here? No. You need the obelisk to construct Carrion. We don't have a lot of those anymore. We have to construct Carrion via global recruitment now, I guess. Alright, fine, fair enough. Either way, you guys will have to move this way. One to transfer and then one to fight. Maybe to trespass and annoy these guys until they cancel their agreement so we can attack them, but yeah. You, King Thotep, are going this way. And you could trespass. Watch these guys attack us and kill him. Oh, he's immortal, so it shouldn't matter. Wow, okay, there's a lot of these guys out here. You know what, I kind of don't trust it. Let us move down here. It would be unfortunate to have to get the all of these guys back together. Let's also double check a couple of things. Necrotech, another genius architect. Well, we only have one more turn, so we should probably get you in there somewhere. Now the question is where? You now have both of your genius architects, so you don't technically need ones. Ooh, what you do need, though, is Ushabti with a great bow. 1, 2, 3. One regular Ushabti, and you'll need a fourth Ushabti with a great bow. It's going to take a bit to recruit, but not much we could do about... Oh, wow, 6 turns? You know, I don't want to sit there for so many turns. Maybe we will... Can you side grade these guys? You can upgrade these guys. Okay, not a side grade, but let's start with a regular Ushabti and then upgrade you. We will also need... we'll need a mage in this army, won't we? Lich Priest, what do we have here? Custodian, Potion of Healing? Funnily enough, not... I'm wondering whether the Lich Priest of Nehekar will be super useful in this particular army. The ranged army, maybe this is one army that we might be better off going with the Lich Priest of Light. And just for the net of Amantok, though admittedly our Ushabti will still be wading into melee either way. And Skullstorm is significantly more useful than Banishment. I don't really care for... I mean, this is basically just Foz Protection plus Net of Amantok. Barona's Time Warp is pretty nice as well, at least for the Ushabti with weapons. We could do it just for fun. Before I was saying that we should do those only where we have additional mages, but for now, maybe you're okay. Alright, let's wake another Lich Priest then. Here. 1 capacity for Lich Priest. A bit on the expensive side, but what can you do? Alright, like so, and then we'll get you up here. Let's do light, and then we'll do, I guess, Mortuary Cultist. Well, Evasion actually might be good on this lord. He's a bow lord, so he probably is not going to be the most effective in melee if people actually close the distance and attack him in melee. Though, admittedly, the healing potion would also kind of serve that purpose. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong things. This gives us casualty or punishment rate and then evasion, but the speed would be useless here. Screw it. I think we'll be fine with Mortuary Cultist. Cooldown reduction, more Foz protection, and Net of Amantok. It would be really nice if we could get some Swords of Torment as well. That would be quite helpful in this particular army, though with no flying hero to take advantage of it, or as much advantage as normal, it won't be quite as good. Level rank 6? Okay, it'll be a while, but better to do that while fighting and stuff. Anyway, Scorpion King, you. You need, I guess, to push northward towards Doom Mountain. I imagine that you can reach in 2 turns, so you can just go there right now. In fact, stay in our territory so we can take advantage of the bonus movement range. This is their capital, then we'll move down here, and then I guess we'll have to bounce back up towards Cliffs of Dawn. I also want to wipe out these guys, but we're not technically at war with them, so we can at least somewhat ignore them for now. Do we want to get another Lich Priest for anybody? Now, you guys will need... Okay, so you have yours, or at least one of them. I might get a second Death Priest in this army. I'm not 100% on it yet. You will need a Lich Priest most definitely, though. And you'll want a Lich Priest of Nehekara. That's just what we've been doing. I guess we could do a Custodian for you. Alright, let's wake another then. Lich Priest capacity. There goes all of our money on Lich Priests, but what can you do? Gotta spend money to make Lich Priests. And Custodian. I like so. And then technically, you don't have a Lich Priest either. Actually, you do. And just a low-level one. Advisor that gives you Frenzy. We don't have another Advisor available here, do we? Nah. We do hear of the Death Priests, but that's not what we're looking for right now. What about the Tomb Princes, Infantrymen, and Loyal Guardian? I don't care for those. And Genius Architect will definitely need some of these guys. King Thutef's actually going to need one, so why not? Genius Architect. Wait. Actually, will he want a Genius Architect? He's going to want... I'm going to say 6 Sphinxes, so we could do 2 Necrotects of other types instead of going for the 1 Genius Architect variant, right? Oh, unless... You know what, let's just get the Genius Architect on field. If we need to delete him later, we will. I just figure... Well, actually, let's also get you the Canopic Jar Hoarder. I just figure we might get other Cathan constructs in this army as well, so in that case, it would still work out. Alrighty. That's enough of that. High Queen Khalida, now... You're not able to... Okay, these are pretty far. I guess we're just going straight to 6 Watch Forts, which we unfortunately can't reach immediately, but all good. We'll reach it fairly soon anyway. Ogres I see are sitting there. It's Libaras, or Lamia rather, that we're really after. You want to raid for a turn? Your mana is full, so why not? Green territory. That's a low-level one, unfortunately. If the enemy will move to actually defend it or not. Guess we'll find out. Keepers don't need to move. Oh, if we wake another, we could briefly get a couple keepers on field to reduce this vampiric corruption to, well, hopefully less. Yeah, maybe that's a good option as well. Alright, let's get another Lich Priest. Another keeper. Let's see if that brings it down to negative. We could always delete these later to put them into armies, but for now, just get more of these wise guys. Or more Canopic Jar regeneration. Canopic Hoarder and Cleanse Corruption, and I think that's the only thing we need to do other than Keeper of Allure. Hey, alright, there you go. Apparently I can't click. Any more corruption reductions? I don't think so. Alright, so that puts it to +1. Really? +1? Huh. Corruption is reduced by an additional +6, meaning it was already... Huh? How can it have gone from +6 to +1 where we added more than -6? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Maybe they don't stack like that? I feel like we're just gonna have to ignore this this corruption here. Yeah, whatever. Also, I'm gonna rename you Keeper, because otherwise I'll keep looking at you and wondering if I have to do something with you. Keeper. Adaya, there you go. Alright, good enough for you. Good enough for me. Good enough for everyone, I hope. Anyway, that is that, right? Other than Prince Scout the First, you have max Canopic Jars. Yes, yes. Keep looking for jerks here. Did you land... I mean... go this way. Go around. Just gotta find the Cathans and the Dark Elves. Looks like the Hunts Marshal's expedition is still around. They don't hate us. They're not happy about us being undead, but they don't hate us. Are they willing to trade, is the question. Oh, look like some dwarfs want to trade with the undead. Interesting, Arguelon now wants to trade, eh? Is Arguelon the better option here? They'll give us more money, so I guess. Huts Marshal's expedition will, however, make us friendlier with these other factions up here, so let's do that. No alliances, just trade. Is Arguelon still willing, or did that... No, they are still willing. Alright, Arguelon it is. What's your money, though? I find it unlikely that we're going to get too many of those units, but we'll see for now. Karazakarak, yeah, we'll trade with you. What do you not like? You don't like our treaties with the Order of Lore Masters and Legion of Setep. Well, who knows? We might kill them. We might kill you. It depends on who's unwilling to become our vassal. And in Angrand, I guess you're kind of in the same situation. We'll trade with all of you. It's more money. 1 gold? Okay, fair enough. I guess they're not doing so well. I'd love to trade with the other Tomb King factions, but they're holding pyramids we need, so not much we can do about it. Alright, now we can do the building. Let's start from the bottom this time, because there's always not enough to do the stuff that we want. And let's start with you, Cape Carpentharia, because we want to upgrade that Bone Wharf. You can be now deleted, and then we will build the Undead Quarrymen here. You can be deleted. Wait, Idol of Asaph, Janadar. Yeah, the rest of this is fine. We built this so that you can recruit, so we were now going to delete you. You can start collecting income. Wait, can you start collecting income? No, one more turn. Can you start collecting income? No. Alrighty. Keep this... No, actually, we don't need you anymore. Khalida should be able to reach the enemy settlement anyway. We can, however, upgrade you and get the Taxidermist's Tomb. Taxidermist's Tomb? Okay. Open Graves. No longer technically need the Sepulchre. Oh, you know what? Keep it for one turn because we will want to build a Pyramidion here before anything else anyway. Alright. West Barrier Idols. Great Statue of Jaff. I see no landmarks here. You call these barrier idols? There are no idols. It's barely a barrier. Alrighty, well, I guess that's all we got for now. Here, we will definitely want to be upgrading these and building new ones. So let's go you, and let's go for the Undead Quarrymen. No need to upgrade those guys. Black Pyramid of Settra. I believe you're going to want a Royal Burial Chamber. Mostly because we want these everywhere. This place has the Royal Burial Chamber. You'll probably still want the Fated Pyramidion. And growth here isn't anything great, but it's going to take such a long time for the place to reach tier 5 that we may as well just build the Pyramidions and assume that it'll stay at tier 4 for a long, long time. Undead Quarrymen. And I did say that there's a decent likelihood that we make this into a military province, but, well, it's mostly the high-tier military things that we need in here, as well as the low tiers can just be recruited from, well, via global recruitment. And I guess the same thing's kind of true of Amsu's Charge. We'll wait on those, but we can build the... Oh, actually, this place is going fairly well in terms of getting up to tier 5, so we'll leave it alone. Shifting Sands, what do we have here? We have the defenses, or at least you need to be upgraded. But otherwise, it's Pyramidion time. Pyramidion, no Pyramidion, yes to the Undead Quarrymen, yes to the Undead Quarrymen. Northern Barrier Idols, do we have Pyramidion space? Indeed we do. Pyramidion 1, Pyramidion 2. And that's about it. Mountains of Dawn, we'll ignore you. East Barrier Idols. Great Idol of Shapesh, we will upgrade the Crumbling Temple, followed by Undead Quarrymen, and upgrade the other Undead Quarrymen. Red Cloud Mountain, the place that we don't know whether we're keeping. Let's upgrade the ones with the trade goods, and pop in a few of these Fated Pyramidions when we can, which is not now. Yeah, alrighty. City of Scholars, upgrade the Memorial whatevers. Blightwater. What do we have here? I believe we're waiting for more Pyramidions, and we're keeping the Avenue of Monuments. And, okay, let's upgrade the Revered Mausoleum, and we're done, money-wise. How's our income in terms of the Canopic Jars? Yeah, pretty good. Like I said, I'd like to get it up to 1,000, because this costs a lot to get any items up and running. For now, though, I believe we're good. And the turn. Alrighty, Ambusher discovered. I see this fella's still around, and he's going closer and closer to Floating Village, which frankly is kind of annoying, but let's see if we can't keep an eye on him. Ah, he's gonna destroy the place, isn't he? We'll see. Dynasty Research, Vanguard deployment for Necropolis Knights. Beautiful. Settlement receives plague. Yeah, it was always going to happen. Settra, stay in our own territory, but march towards Bloody Tusk's encampment. We'll want to knock out the Redhorn tribe here, whereas Alcazar, so close to rank 14, get a little bit of bonus XP via raiding stance. Yeah, we could raid Katep's territories, at least starting next turn, so yeah, maybe do that. Stay in Channeling, stay in the our territory, and proceed to wipe out Kugath, or move towards him. Prince, I was supposed to put you in this army, and then I didn't? Apparently not. Alright, go here. Alright, Necrotech check. Frenetic now. I've got another Cavalier, though. We might get you up and running soon. Not that it's critical right now, as those armies are still recruiting Panet. 2 Kahid Dunes, please, via Grey Dynasty stance. And on towards Zemesi Oasis afterwards. The poor Bretonnians here are having a pretty bad time, generally speaking, and I don't see it getting too much better anytime soon. Occupy. Alright, don't collect the income until the place is maxed out in terms of public order, and I guess we'll allow it to grow a little bit more. How many territories do you have left?
I suspect
3, 1, 2, and then the other third last one up here somewhere. Alright, well, looks like that might have been the sum total of the armies belonging to... are you in the settlement? Can't tell. The sum total of armies belonging to Rapunz. Anyway, Tree of Beards. What do we got here? Close victory. Probably not worth fighting. We fought a similar army, except better. Alright, I was gonna put this on you. Alright, there you go. Now, these guys have 58 armor. Pretty good for a ghost unit. I wonder if we can bump their armor up anymore in any way. Yeah, the Hawk Legion of Settra have grown really, really good. 113 armor, silver shield, 63 move speed as fast as heavy cav. Melee attack with sundering armor at 60 and 54. Only their weapon strength is a little bit iffy, and I guess their charge bonus is fairly low for something that moves this fast, but anyway. All good, auto resolve. Hi. How dare you hurt the constructed criticism? And occupy. It's the second time that's happened. I wonder why. Don't collect income, but do build military structures so that the place is worth more for when we trade it to the lizards. All right, King Walkoff. You got your fight, buddy? And it very much looks like you do. All right, so you are currently at war with allies with Chevalier de Lyonesse. Okay, that explains why they hate us so much. Declare war. Yes. Like so. Wood Elf conflict as well as the canopic jars. Oh, I didn't select the new thing here. Alright, so we did the coiling alacrity. What other critical upgrades do we have here that will upgrade the sort of maximum amount of units that we have? I'm also kind of tempted by the proclamation of the 6th Dynasty, I'll admit. I like the Winds of Magic Power Reserve capacity. I could always do that as well, but let's see. Vigor for Carrion and Tomb Scorpion, that's nice. Could do also one of these. Armor for Skeleton Archers and Horsemen, we have some of those. And ammunition and reload for Skeleton Archers. I need Tomb Guard upgrades. We are using a fair bit of those. Yeah, let's do the, this. +4/+4 for all Tomb Guard, +4/+4 for all embedded heroes. And probably could use the extra armor for the Tomb Guard as well. And then maybe more snake upgrades, because, you know, who needs more upgrades? It's snakes. You switch into Grey Dynasty stance, as we always do. This does have a miscast space chance reduction as well, which ain't so bad, but anyway, Grey Dynasties. Let's see how we do against giant piles of archers. And Wood Elves in general. Should be pretty interesting. Emblem of Withering. We've decided to put it all on you guys. Alright, so at least, other than the central unit, which is going to hold the Banner of Eternal Flame, mostly because we don't have... I mean, I didn't want to get rid of it, and we don't have any room to get rid of the rest. And these guys will be at 98 armor, which is decent. And let's get to it. Wait, what do we have here? They got some Knights of the Realm. Ooh, Sisters of the Thorn are going to be irritating. Fortunately, we do have a fair bit of range firepower ourselves, so hopefully it will be fine. Go. Alrighty, here we go. The Tomb Kings versus the Wood Elves, though I would say being in the desert, we're in our element, and the Wood Elves probably not so much. Enemy has a tiny little army deployed outside of the oasis, or the settlement, whatever it is. But at the very least, the Glade Riders will get focused down and obliterated extremely quickly. No need for the enemy to have these same sort of unit types that we do here, especially as they've got a lot of Glade Guard and Glade Riders coming in. And we gotta reduce their range capabilities as much as possible. Glade Riders are out, the Dryads have joined the fray for at least a few seconds, but they should get torn to shreds by the Sepulchral Stalkers. Yeah, hopefully we can get a Dark Elf ally. I really want Medusa together with Sepulchral Stalkers. I just think it'll be a great combo. Rakarth might be the only option in that regard. Malice will hate us thanks to Emmerich being an ally. Crone Hillebron will hate us thanks to us probably allying with the Cathan units, because the Cathan units are more critical than Dark Elf units, as more of their unit types will mix better with ours. Who else do we have on the field? Oh, Loke here, I suppose, if we were to sail somebody down. I guess Tehenuan's also down there, but we could try to choose Loki over Tehenuan. I will think about it. Either way, the enemy lord had a pretty darn bad time against the sepulchral stalkers and our archers, and gets torn to shreds as the arrows continue raining down upon him. That said, we're going to get plenty of a taste of our own medicine in that regard, as the Wood Elves reinforcements have arrived with 2 full stacks, tons and tons of Glade Guard, Sisters of the Thorn. We've got Swift Shiver Shards there, and we've got some more Glade Riders. I see a couple of units of Eagles as well, which are always an issue. I love the Eagle units myself, so certainly am holding a healthy wariness of them, I suppose. Anyway, the enemies are on the field now. We're going to have to back off lest our Sepulchral Stalkers take too much enemy range fire. Fortunately, the Glade Guard aren't going to be crazy threatening to them, with their armor-piercing missile damage relatively low. In fact, at 5, it's about even with our own. But we still want to be wary of it, especially on the Skeleton Horse Archers with their pathetic 20 armor and their, well, missile resistance isn't too bad. Anyway, over all the way on the right flank, the first of the enemy units of Sisters of the Thorn appear, and these things are very much devastating. Like our own units of Venom Knights of Asaph, which have that toxic venom, we can't really allow units with toxic venom to stay on field and apply that to more units. So we're going to focus them down as best we can with 2 or 3 units of Sepulchral Stalkers and 3 units of those Skeleton Horse Archers. The units of Sisters of the Thorn are going to start booking it on out of there, and unfortunately we can't commit to chasing them, so we're going to start backing them off while we try to hose down or pincushion the Great Forest Eagles with arrows. Otherwise, we see that we've deployed Mr. Walkoff over in the center of the map, while our guards of Ra and the other Tomb Guard are kind of closer to maybe a quarter on the other side of the map here. The idea is to use the Wood Elf tactics against them to lead them around all the way across the entire map to the Tomb Guard, doing as much damage with Sepulchral Stalker and with the Skeleton Horse Archer alike as we can. That was kind of the original concept behind this army, after all, with the Sepulchral Stalkers able to go into stalk and, you know, hiding, and any enemy elements that get close enough to the Skeleton Horse Archers, and would thus face the sudden giant halberd in your face from the snakes and burrowing out of the sand. Which is pretty neat. Anyway, the Eagles are having a bad time, down to about half of their HP, but are still in the fight. Will they be in the fight for much longer, however, as the anti-large units of Sepulchral Stalkers move in, and the now rather quick-moving King Walkoff makes his way through our lines, through all those snakes, to close... That was a pretty cool shot. To close the distance with those Eagles. The Eagles see Walkoff, or take a few hits from his Kopeshes, and book it on out of there as well. Nice. Units of Knights of the Realm, the tankier elements of the enemy from an outpost apparently, have charged forth, and we summon a unit of Skeleton Warriors on top of them just to distract them, get a few extra shots off on them, but otherwise continue backing off. The other sort of a good aspect or helpful aspect of backing off like this is the fact that we can periodically summon a Skullstorm in the midst of our foe and dish out that extra damage to them. Anyway, Walkov's sort of running around on the front line, smacking Kopesh to halberd. Not that I think he'd need to sort of embolden or whatever the rest of the army. And it looks like the Knights of the Realm are moving towards us, so that's just fine, though. We're going to lead them towards our Sepulchral Stalkers, get a few extra shots off, and then turn Walkoff around to meet them in their charge. There we go. Cut down the first Knights. These Sepulchral Stalkers continue to shotgun the Knights, but they'll get trapped attempting to fight Walkoff, where they have no chance of winning. And there we go. Just like that, beautiful. Walkoff sees the Knights off, and I think he's not done here. He's going to ignore the fact that the rest of our army is backing off towards our line of Tomb Guard, and instead head directly towards the enemy Ancient Tree Man, especially since those Knights of the Realm aren't turning. That's, I think, going to be a proper duel for him. There we go, leaping towards the big boy. And I guess being a smaller target like this, Walkoff also is not as threatened by the giant piles of enemy range as we are here. Alright. completely unsupported, very far from the rest of our army, but should be a pretty nice duel. Speaking of the rest of our army, we can see Walkoff all the way out here. We have backed up behind our line of Tomb Guard at last, going to try to obliterate any of the enemy units that will peel away and refuse to engage them. I like this little unit of Eternal Guard with shields, but we should have plenty of firepower in order to do that. The first of our Tomb Guard have engaged, and our third Skullstorm has come down. The enemy isn't really being very obliging in terms of not really blobbing up as much as we'd like, but we occasionally get to clip 2 or 3 units rather than 1. Alright, well, the Eternal Guard will be engaged with the Tomb Guard for a while, but unlike the battle against the Skaven, these are the sword and board variants, so we should be able to cut down the infantry a little bit better. And over on the right flank, the enemy is having a pretty bad time, as well as the Sepulchral Stalkers have dealt now with the enemy units of range cav and are now going to deal with the actual enemy units of range, using their speed in the same manner that we have previously against the Imperials and Bretonnians to rush into the enemy range lines and prevent as many of them from firing as possible. Same thing has now begun to repeat itself over on the left flank as well. And though the enemy, for some reason, tries to charge some Glade Riders into melee, maybe to help the rest of the Glade Guard, that's really not going to help against the Sepulchral Stalkers. Now, in theory, we could do the same by charging in the Skeleton Horse Archers, but the Glade Guard are deceptively handy in melee. They have 42 melee attack, and the super fragile Skeleton Horse Archers would not survive actually charging them. So we gotta get them down to enough either HP damage so that they'll fall, or enough morale damage so that the charge, or the morale shock of the charge, I should say, will make sure that they rout, rather than staying and fighting those Skeleton Horse Archers. The enemy Lord Daertok is still in the midst of the duel between Walkoff, who has lost about a third of his HP, but the big old ancient tree man on fire and bleeding is down to about 10% of his. Soon, it looks like the Twin Blades will fell the great tree man. And in fact, it looks like... wait. Yeah, it looks like the tree man has realized that he's no hope of winning, and one more hit from Walkoff will bring him down. There we go. Fantastic work. That was a great duel. Absolutely love it. Of course, with the fall of the ancient tree man, the enemy army has realized that they have no hopes of winning here and will break everywhere. Frankly, they probably had no hope earlier. As soon as our units of Sepulchral Stalkers closed the distance with the enemy piles of Glade Guard, there was no way that the enemy was able to dish out enough damage to threaten us any longer. Very, very nice fight. Alrighty, there we go. King Walkoff proves himself to be a menace yet again, just calmly walking through the entire enemy army to duel and defeat, felling that ancient tree man. Absolutely fantastic. Otherwise, our desert army beat the Wood Elves at their own game, essentially kiting them over the pretty much the entire map and slowly but surely tearing them to shreds. Absolutely love it. For the snakes, we have the Snacky Snacks and the Eyes of the Desert taking the prize. I'll Bark No Bite did well as well. Good job, little fella. We've got the... looks like one of the unnamed Skeleton Horse Archers for the, well, Skeleton Horse Archers, though admittedly I haven't gotten a lot of Skeleton Horse Archers suggestions. Yeah, they're not a very fancy unit, but here they do very well. I'd love to get the Endless March, but frankly, we should have to auto-resolve what remains here, meaning I guess we'll bind souls instead. It's also not a lot of cash, so why not? Alright, bind souls, and then we'll auto-resolve what remains here. You know, it's funny, I think, unless I'm misrecalling, but I'm 98% sure that last time I played Arcan the Black, King Walkoff was also a absolute star of that campaign, as I think I gave him the Ghoul army, and I really enjoy Crypt Ghouls and Crypt Horrors in the first place, and Arcan gets several different types of them as well, which made for a pretty fun time. But anyway, let's see, you don't need Ancient Stone in your army. We lack Stone Sentinels for the snakes, but... Magic item drop chance plus 25% is hard to say no to. We got casualty replenishment, which is good as well. Yeah, I'm gonna say let's take the magic item drop chance, if nothing else. And keep in mind, Wakov's been winning his duels without great items, and frankly, he's still using a supportive brass cleaver, and not a single point, not even one, in his fighty tree, so just wait. Anyway. What do we need in terms of levels here? Spring the Trap, definitely gonna keep upgrading those snakes, and then... I'm gonna say one more point in Skullstorm. We use it a lot, let's face it. Alright, now, what are we looking at here with King Rakashin? Alright, okay, so you guys continue sort of moving together. Set up. Wait, can you guys sort of stay near each other? You can, alright. I don't see these guys attacking both of these armies, so... move this way. And then you move here with them. Because I forgot which army I was gonna put you in. I guess it was Rakash's army, right? You're a Lich Priest? Having a Hekara, presumably? Yeah, go to Rakash's army. Alright, looks good. I'd love to employ the anti-leadership army against the ogres, though it remains to be seen when they'll actually declare war on us. Anyway, you hit Doom Mountain. Huh, might have not actually needed to build up the spare units there, but oh well. Valiant defeat, you say? Alright. We'll give them a chance to sally out then. I somehow doubt it, but it is a tier 5, so they got a lot of good stuff. Why not? And I'll give them a chance. If they're gonna sally out, in fact, we should probably get a resurrect. Now, we have nobody who's rank 7 yet, but it looks like the range units will get it first. So we'll go for Blessing of the Asp into resurrect. You two, Lich Priest. Definitely Skullstorm, and then Necrotech. You already have Master Bone Sculptor. We're going to be moving a lot after this, so, well, you know what, let's get 1 point in Loving Creator, I guess, for, well, actually, is it, well, for the Scorpions, right? Yeah, actually, what do we get in terms of buffs for the Scorpions? Just weapon strength? I mean, it's something. It's not nothing. Go figure. Anyway, King Thutep, I would like you to move towards these guys, but for now, just stay here. Again, I don't want you to randomly get killed by the ogres. And this Necrotech we kind of randomly got, so we'll just keep him there, in case we want to pop him into an army. Alright, Khalida. You are gonna take... Oh, look at that. These guys have shown up. I wonder. We could besiege it, and these guys will probably move towards us. They stand no chance either way, but I'd rather fight a field battle. So we'll do this, and we'll see if they're willing to move towards us. Khalida, you can also level up a teensy bit, reanimate. I guess Retinue Trainer, we're going to have new units in here, so we may as well take advantage of the bonus XP. You are going to go through Guardian Gargantua and max out increased mobility. And let's see the Lich Priest. Probably get 1 point in Incantation of Desiccation. Again, it's a very nice set of debuffs, but again, 15 mana is a lot. You can spam our other spells a fair few times for the same amount. Anyway, the reason I want to besiege is I figured this will stack, plus the garrison, plus these guys will move into reinforce. We might as well wipe them all out at once, essentially. Why not? Alright. Who's Sekhara again? Oh, Lich Priest of Light. Right. I'd like to pop you in here, but I don't know what to delete. I'm not even sure that there's anything. I mean, we'd have to delete one of these guys, or the Ushabti. Could get rid of a Screaming Skull Catapult, but I kind of liked the idea of combining those with the Ushabti with Great Bow. Because these guys have that anti-missile resistance take cover thing that they seem to do. I guess we'll wait a little, and perhaps I will decide, or otherwise I will continue thinking about it. Until I forget about it. Anyway. Prince Scout, go keep on scouting. And, while we're at it, let's see, as soon as you stop moving... Oh, right on. Alright, let's see about trading with the elves. There we go. And I guess we could get the... I mean, we haven't really been doing other alliance types with anybody. Oh wow, 6,000 gold. This is gonna make you weaker, but I don't care. Tribute to the King of Kings. Alright, huh. I actually wonder what the chances of... Pretty low. I was wondering what the vassalage chances were there, but yeah, no dice. Oh well. Alright, we'll see about finding the Cathians and hopefully getting more Cathian stuff. Actually, speaking of, wait, was it this turn that we... Okay, wait a moment. Agents of the Moon. Ulrich Leiskin. Let's do this. Then... Are we... Okay, we do have access to caffeine units now. Now, we wanted... Okay, okay, several things. First of all, Celestial Lions. You have Fearsome Roar. It's just not Blood Roar. Oh, and actually it removes immunity to Psychology. Oh, that's nice. That'll actually work very nicely with our anti-leadership. Now, what about the kitties? I kind of wanted to put these with our Sphinxes. You have the Missile Mirror, which is frankly absolute garbage, but the Disrupted Physical Resistance and Silence isn't too bad. The Jet Lions will probably be better with our Sphinxes, A, because they look appropriate, whereas the Jade Lions may be with any kind of fiery stuff. And also the Celestial Lions, yeah, we should get some of those. And then the War Drums could go into several armies. Okay, no access to the Terracotta stuff yet, but hopefully soon. Anyway. You will go into Entomb Beneath the Sands, and I would like you to recruit from the Agents of the Moon 2 Celestial Lions and 2 Jet Lions. Alright, beautiful. And, okay, now we're gonna need a lot more allegiance, but we're working on it. May as well upgrade the Khemrian district here, and here. And, okay, not there, but, there. Alright, ooh, wait, can we get another... Not you. Wait, actually, yes, you. I lied. Can we get another one of these? Yes, for the Petra army. All those engines of the gods. And the blinded thing is going to be nice as well. Plus, they provide a Solar Vigor aura. Increase to melee attack. Affects units of Lizardmen. Screw you too, game. And I take it that the Reviv Crystal is still the same? Yeah, affects units of Lizardmen. It's alright. I really wish that wasn't the case, but yeah, not gonna bother with the revivs then. And I believe that's it. We have besieged 2 locations, and we'll probably get attacked at both of them. Let's do building real quick, starting from the bottom again, though. Alright, yes to the Graveport, yes to the... just build a treasure tomb. A little bit expensive for what it offers right now, but we gotta do it anyway. And you can at least temporarily build the lone column, but nothing else. Wait, can you now collect income? Yes, you can. Bitter Wind. You're fine as you are and keep, yeah, I got to get the public order up and running. Almost tempted to temporarily build a, obelisk here. You can always delete it after, right? This place is fine. Okay, I don't know why I'm checking those. West Barrier Idols. Yes to the upgrade of the Crumbling Temple, and yes to the Undead Quarryman and the Lone Column. Pools of Despair. Grove of Thorns. Oh, wow. It's actually a proper location, unlike these two, which are mini settlements. I guess because this is a Wood Elf. Was a Wood Elf location. Huh. Well, that's nice. A Lumber Camp into Worship of Construction Reduction will reduce the... I'll take out the collect income until it's maxed out, and then I guess we'll leave it alone for now. Eastern Hekara. What do we have here again? Oh, right. Well, these guys could come in and attack us, so at least temporarily we're going to need defenses, and that won't change the fact that we will need Pyramidions, though, so let's start building those. Alright, looks good to me. Next, we get the Black Pyramid of Settra. I mean, once the Mortiferous Sanctuary is out, we can... build something else here, but otherwise this stuff is a little bit on the expensive side. Ignore it. Western Hekara. Ooh, lots of Pyramidions to be upgrading. Let's start with you, I think, and then go for all of these Memorial Masons. I'll upgrade you to Tier 3, but ignore the other one. Garian Nest and Amsu's Charge, we're waiting to upgrade you to Tier 5. Teshert, however, we are not, so let's upgrade the Crumbling Temple here, and then pop in a nice... Now, it's probably going to be a capacity location, so we don't actually need the Undead Quarrymen here, in theory. Probably we'll need one of these, and we have the Royal Burial Chamber, meaning we can leave it alone for now. Alright, Great Idol of Walat. Yes to the Pyramidion upgrade, and yes to the Undead Quarrymen, and the same thing here. Quarrymen, and whatever this thing is called. There you go. What about here? Oh, actually we do. I was gonna say no need a Pyramidion here, but that is a lie. We'll build it here, and then we'll upgrade the others. And we no longer need the Statuary of Khemri in this particular location. This place is fine, because I'm not sure whether we're changing anything there, but this place can actually upgrade this next turn, so we'll leave it alone. East Barrier Idols. Yes, the Mortuary Sanctum and the Memorial Masons. Yes to the Mortuary Sanctum here as well. Blightwater. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, Bow Nose's Hold. This is growing fairly quickly as well. So we'll delete all of this once we're out of here. Necropolis of Qatar, you can go into Revered Mausoleum. Cracked Lands, we've got the, yes, Hierophant's Bibliotheca. Marble Monolith, temporarily, eventually to be deleted, but for now, yes. And this place is more or less fine. I'm gonna build one of these, but for now we'll leave it alone. Same thing for the City of Kings, and not same thing here, and there we go. Alright, have a little bit of money remaining, mostly because I didn't build some of the expensive stuff, but we're looking good. I think we've nearly reached critical mass in terms of money generation, outdoing the need for building, which is fantastic. Skip, 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 and turn. Alright, there they go sallying out indeed, and ooh, they got 2 war wagons, which as we've seen before are quite dangerous to the Necropolis Knights and Sepulchral Stalkers. I kept this because I forgot to remove it. Otherwise, let's go. Alrighty, here we go. Another absolutely gigantic pile of Imperials and Bretonnians stand arrayed against us, but, well, I don't imagine they'll prove much more of a problem than they have previously. Khalida's army being pretty darn strong against that sort of thing. Despite being, I don't know, 3/4 of an army, maybe a little less at this point. That's alright, though. Now, there are a couple of extremely threatening units, as I said, and that is those war wagons. Pretty devastating units in SFO, and we're going to have to do our best to bring them down. Oh, wow! You can survive a hit from a bone giant. 25% missile resistance. Good for you. And where's that bone giant? 804 missile strength. You can survive 2 hits in a row from a bone giant. Oh, wow, okay. Well, on the bright side, I was intending to put several bone giants in this army. All to be stalking and sniping, of course. I think it'll be a neat little way to do Khalida's army, and different from what I would normally have done with her with the piles of skeleton archers in addition to those snakes. Admittedly, this means Khalida won't be able to make much use of the Blessing of Asaph that she has, with the +20 reload skill and all that stuff. But I suppose we could always put her together with the bone giants in the sort of opening portions of the battle while we hose the enemy down. It's not like they'd be able to see the bone giants.
Enemy wizard spotted.
Alright. Huh. Interestingly, the bone giant doesn't have, it has snipe, and it has stalk. But it, oh, okay, now it's hidden. Huh. Wait. Firing? Wait, so it unhides when firing? Huh, wait, so does this plan not work? Or does it work? Or maybe it's just lying. I don't know. Well, either way, the enemy war wagons are having a bad time. Maybe despite the fact that you can give stock to a giant unit like this, it will still, I mean, there's nothing that should be spotting it, right? Interesting. Just out of curiosity, where are Sepulchral Stalkers? So they do have hidden on them, but the bone giant does not. You have snipe, sir. Alright, in the future I'm going to see if anything can fire back at them and see whether this plan actually works out. I thought it would be neat if it did, but I suppose at the end of the day, the bone giants still work reasonably nicely here. Anyway, the extremely threatening unit of war wagons is now pretty much done for. And I believe that means we are free to get a few more shots of the bone giant on the more fragile units, like the mortars, as we've seen with the Skaven artillery crew. A single arrow from these guys will obliterate an artillery piece. And it's always pretty entertaining to see, I gotta say. Here comes 3 out of 4 shots. Smashy, smashy. Down goes another artillery piece with everybody around it losing limbs from the explosion, and then 1 more arrow. Oh my lord, it just goes over the top of the mortar and just knocks out one of those poor crewmen. Alright, that's okay. We do have more arrows where that came from, unless, maybe not. Somebody blocked you off? Alright, that's fine. It's fine because our snakes have closed the distance anyway, and I'm not sure the artillery crew are here anyway. Oh, the artillery crew are probably going to be running away anyway. Here come the Necropolis Knights, heading directly into the enemy blob and starting to apply that toxic venom. Terrified units all over the place, but, well, with good reason. It's pretty terrifying. Hey, look at all of them go flying as well. Oh, lovely. Now, I do have to be careful about the enemy range units like the new Altdorf retinue. Not to be underestimated. There we go, so we're gonna run them down. And keep on heading around and trying to apply those debuffs to everyone we can. Khalida's in the midst of all this, of course, as well. And as soon as we're ready and we've done enough sort of shock damage with all of our charges, we're going to peel her away to duel the enemy lords. Over all the way on the right flank, we have 2 of our units of sepulchral stalkers, sort of annoying enemy units of halberds, who attempt to charge forth and lose half of their HP to their shotgun blasts. We could have just backed them off a little bit and then killed them outright, but why bother? We should just be able to tear them apart in melee instead. Same sort of situation overall all the way on the left flank, as we have 2 more sepulchral stalkers there. Trying to fight a few more units, but since there's more enemies on this side, we're going to move the Tombbark in to support. Alright, our Bone Giant's still firing away at the enemy. I believe Khalida has killed something, I'm not sure. Oh wow, Bone Giant's at nearly 20,000 damage dealt. Pretty darn solid. Yeah, the Bone Giants are definitely going to be able to keep up in this army in terms of pure damage. Oh, okay. Khalida has defeated the enemy Huntsman. Huntsman General, I should say. And now she's just mocking him by bowling him over rather than delivering the final blow. And the other, there we go. And with that, he falls, I believe. No, he's going to get up again, still being bowled over. Okay, well, he'll die eventually. Anyway, the other unit of war wagons has made its way onto the battlefield, and we summon the tiny little unit of sacral serpents on top of it. Not so much because we expect them to kill it, but because we expect them to keep it locked down in battle. Kind of interesting to see the sacral serpents go down with every blast from those war wagons, however. Not that it'll help over much. The center of the enemy line is pretty collapsed at this point. All of those infantry just couldn't take those charges from our units of Necropolis Knights, and here come a few more. There we go, bowling over cavalry and infantry alike. A few of the enemies are still close in melee combat, led by an Empire captain, but I don't think he's going to find any purchase here. We even have a summoned unit of skeletons to help out. Hey, look, it's one of the idols there. Anyway, with that, I do believe the battle is very much nearly ours. Bounce power's at about 90%. Khalida has also closed the distance with a general of the Empire. I did attempt to actually have our Tomb Prince duel the General of the Empire, but the General took like half of the HP from the Tomb Prince, who was able to do basically nothing. I guess his stats aren't high enough to deal with this as yet, which makes sense since we haven't invested in his fighty tree. But because of the Tomb Princes... Yeah, Tomb Princes need something. I think they need to be given the White King treatment that the vampire counts have been given. I can certainly see their niche as sort of like a small, fast-moving anti-large specialist, at least until you get to Necrosphinxes and stuff. But otherwise, they're going to be very much inferior to the Empire captains, who can at least have a flying mount and thus menace enemy range lines, enemy artillery, and reposition themselves much quicker, and very much inferior to the new versions of the White Kings that can summon a unit of Barrow Guardians, which are Graveguard with maces on field, which White Kings are similar sort of defensive-minded units of single entities like the Tomb Princes, but thus they have a significantly bigger use. These guys, not only do they not summon anything, not only do they not have a flying unit, and they also don't really have anything that they buff in the army, right? Because they have all that pile of defensive buffs. Their good thing is that they do have the... where is it here? Oh, you don't have it yet. Okay, well, they have that air command, dominance, or perseverance thing that they can get, which is a nice +6 melee defense aura around if you're losing, not outright. So, kind of units. Generally speaking, I find it's just better to get other units in the army. But again, we'll still build a couple of armies with a few of these guys, see what heights we can take them to with max items and all that. But I digress. A lovely little fight. The Imperials over on Khalida's side of the map are very much soon to be gone. Alrighty, there we go. Absolutely monstrously effective. The enemy army stood no chance, and the Venom Knights of SF continue to outdo themselves with every battle. 1,300 kills, 140,000 damage, and nearly 6,000 damage dealt as gold value. It's pretty darn insane. Khalida, relatively low on the kill count, but she was hunting lords and single entities, which does make sense. She did wipe out 3 or 4 of them, and certainly lives up to her name. As the warrior queen, the lich priest got a couple of sandstorms, skullstorms rather off, but otherwise was kind of matched by the rest of the army. For these snakes today, it'll be the high queen's venom taking the most, and our bone giant also did pretty nicely as well, standing in the middle of the entire sort of map and just taking pot shots at the enemies while in stalk and snipe. I think this army in its final composition form is going to be really, really neat. Anyway, we will... Well, there's no souls to bind, so we'll just take the money.
Let their souls free.
Alright, ally mission successful, enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle. Would you guys please cancel the trade agreement? Ready for QT Agatep Tomb King. Good for him, I guess. Dynasty Research, there we go. Tomb Guard power-up and Hero power-up, which is going to be nice, especially since King Thutep will have a bunch of these heroes in his army, as he also gives plus 10 melee attack to all heroes in his army, so yes. Yeah, so the Skaven didn't attack, but I think we'll save the battle at Doom Mountain for next episode. Okay, now it's Pyrrhic Victory, and I mean, they got some good stuff in there. Probably going to fight it just because they've got good enough elite piles of units for it to make sense to do so. Also, Khalida, can you take what remains here, please? Wait, if we break siege, I could probably chase this guy down, but he barely has anything anyway. Just auto-resolve it. And unsurprisingly, more damage than we took during the actual battle. Occupy. There we go. 6 Watch Forts is ours, which is great because it is a green territory, which we needed, but it isn't high enough level to allow Khalida to build more Bone Giants and more Necropolis Knights, so we'll just have to wait. And hey, Eastern Hekara is now secured. Let's go for that worship. And soon to Lamia and the Book of Nagash therein. But again, we're going to have to wait till next time, as we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Now, almost up to 50,000 predicted income as well. Very, very solid. I expect next time we will be able to knock out the Chevalier de Lyonesse and move to fighting the Swords of Changed Zintians. And then once we've sort of secured the route to the City of Dust, we might split somebody off to go and, subjugate Xandri, as we need their pyramid. Oh, actually, before we end the episode, I just want to see one thing. What power-up are the Sepulchral Stalkers given? Ooh, range, reload, accuracy, replenish ammunition for 60 seconds. That's really nice. Recharges enemy presence and range. Okay, that's a very nice power-up for the snakes, or for the stalkers. What about these guys? Champion souls, cause terror, charge defense versus large, and a decent little power-up in terms of their damage. Infinite duration, as long as enemy... Range 100, so basically you activate this as soon as enemies in range and just start killing. Nice. Alright, some more power-ups. Alright, well, we'll deal with those later. Ooh, these take 2 turns now, so we're probably better off getting something that is 1 turn and then just sort of swapping around, eh? I was gonna do this. Immunity to flanking for all characters, why not? And you know what, actually, let's start with the Proclamation of the 6th Dynasty for the Winds of Magic Power Reserve. Might as well have everybody start racking that up. Anyway, calling it here, more to come. The Alliance or friendly units will soon be added to our own ranks, which should be pretty neat for several armies. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine the length of the campaign. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.